Oh, Yuri Tasaso Jr. sat at the kitchen table across from his babuya, his legs swinging slightly under his chair as he took a big gulp of kvass. The drink was cold and tangy, with a slight sweet, earthy flavour from the fermented rye bread it was made from. He loves the way it fizzed just a little on his tongue, leaving behind a satisfying malty aftertaste. It reminded him of summers spent here with his grandparents. Simple, warm, and full of hard work. Across the table, his babuya was finishing her second bowl of hookah. She soaked up the last bit of fish broth with a chunk of rye bread, humming softly as she ate. The comforting scent of the soup, fresh fish, dill, and just a hint of onion still lingered in the air. Outside, dead Julia was on the porch smoking his pipe, the faint smell of tobacco wafting in when the breeze carried it through the open kitchen window. Babulia didn't allow smoking inside, and dead Julia, as always, respected her wishes with a cheerful shrug. It was a warm, hazy summer afternoon, the kind that made everything feel a little slower. Yuri thought back to the day he'd spent with his dead Yulia repairing the roof. At only 11, he wasn't allowed to use magic outside of school, so they had to do everything the hard way. Thankfully, enchanted tools didn't count as magic, and a quick trip to the hardware store in town had given them everything they needed. It had been tough, hard work, hauling shingles, hammering nails, and climbing up and down the ladder in the heat. But Yuri liked working on projects with his grandfather. He learned how to use his hands to fix things without relying on spells, and there was something satisfying about seeing the roof patched up and solid by the end of the day. He took a bite of pelmeni. The little dumpling burst with savoury, spicy meat as he thought about it all. The comfortable quiet of the kitchen was broken by the sound of a car pulling into the driveway. Yuri paused mid-bite, his brow furrowing. Visitors were rare, and those who did come typically apparated or used the flu network. A car was unusual. A moment later, he heard an excited shout from dead Yulvia on the porch. "I wonder who that might be," Babuya said, a thick Russian accent curling around her words. She glanced at the door with a curious smile. Yuri stood, wiping his hands on his pants. The front door creaked open, and a familiar voice, smooth and joyful, echoed through the house. "I can't so much luggage. I just wanted to be smarter to take a car," the voice said. Yuri's heart skipped a beat. A moment later, his mother rounded the corner, and the room seemed to brighten. Arminta Deshazo was a vision, her golden sandy blonde hair flowing past her waist in a silky ponytail that swayed as she moved. Her sparkling crystal blue eyes lit up the room, the perfect reflection of her parents. Though age had weathered their faces, everyone said they were both stunning in their youth. Tonight she wore a short white summer dress, patterned with tiny flowers that showed off her long legs. White go-go boots complemented the look, along with a playful ribbon tied around her wrist. "Yuri, darling," she said, her Russian accent smooth and melodic as she opened her arms wide. "Come and give your mummy a hug." Yuri didn't hesitate. He ran to her, and she wrapped him in the tight embrace, her scent enveloping him, vanilla, cinnamon, and just a hint of fire smoke. He buried his head deep in her chest, feeling the warmth and security that only she could bring. She kissed the top of his messy, sandy blonde hair, the same shade as hers, and held him close. "You look just like her," people always said, But Arminta would shake her head and smile. "He looks like his father," she'd say, her voice soft with nostalgia. And Yuri didn't argue, but in truth, he barely remembered his father. He'd been so young when Yuri Sr. had died. He didn't want to disappoint her by saying so. "I have something for you," she said suddenly, pulling back and holding out a piece of parchment wrapped in black ribbon. The seal on it gleamed impressively, an intricate black design that made Yuri's breath catch. His crystal blue eyes widened with excitement as he snatched the parchment. "Does this mean?" he exclaimed, unable to finish his sentence. His mother stood proud, beaming. Her beaming face said it all. He quickly opened the parchment, already knowing it was the start of something extraordinary.